What's up, folks? Sean the Average Angler coming at you with another great video. Today we've got kind of a, I don't know, I think it's a new technique. It's something I was introduced to yesterday. And I'm going to share it with you because it was really a game saver. And a friend of mine came down. We went out and fished for a few hours. And he'd been working on this technique and figuring some things out up where he lives. We came down here and guess what? It caught fish when not much else would catch fish here for us. So I'm going to share that with you here in just a minute. If you're new to the channel and you like this kind of content, hit that subscribe button down there. We got a big tackle giveaway when we hit 5,000 subscribers. Okay, there's a video you'll need to drop a comment in to be eligible for the giveaway. And it has the title, 5K subscriber giveaway. Okay, it was the previous video made to this one, so it should be pretty easy to find. So let's do a little bit about what's going on at my home lake. For those that don't know, it's called Calero. It's a little local lake, pretty small. You can troll a motor around the whole lake in a day without any issues. So it's not very big. It's near the big city, so it gets a lot of pressure. Typical winter around here. The water temperatures are finally dropping. We're down to about 55 degrees, but they've also been dropping the lake level, which doesn't, we all know, dropping water levels are not a fisherman's friend. The last, I don't know, 3-4 times out, I've been stuck on 3 fish a day. Well, yesterday we got a limit, and it was thanks to the technique that Kevin brought along with him and shared with me. Now, my dumb ass didn't take any spinning rods because sometimes I get that way and I just think I know what's going on and I'm gonna wreck them doing it. Well, yeah, that didn't happen. The spinnerbait bite was non-existent yesterday. I got one good fish on the working class zero, you know, my one-eyed guy there. But he keeps catching fish. There's teeth marks all over it. This is my first micro citizen I've thrown, okay? So I've been fishing it multiple trips. Pretty durable. They swim really well. Right now, it is working very well for me for the shallow fish, which quite honestly, there just aren't a lot of. I think I'm catching 1 to 2 a day on that. On a good day, I'll get 2. Otherwise, it's been 1. And I think one day I threw it quite a bit and didn't get anything. Now, the jig, of course, is my sweet spot. It's kind of how I've been catching some pretty solid fish. But right now, the fish really seem to be keyed on bait. It's just the dropping water temperatures, I think, the dropping water level. So what Kevin did was Kevin has been fishing a minnow. Now, don't click off the channel, okay, because this is not forward-facing fishing. Kevin was doing this from the back of the boat, and he was using a 5-inch Sakamata shad, okay? Now, after Kevin catching a couple fish, and he caught a couple crappie on this too, 5-inch Sakamata shad. Maybe I'll drop a picture of one of those in there, but you can use any number of baits, okay? I went and I tied on, I don't have any here. They're in the boat, but I just used, oh, I have something similar. I just used the Z-Man, also in a 5-inch, because that's what I had. I didn't have my FFS bag here that I've got right here, and I know I just had the Strike King Z2, okay? So these are, my point is that there are baits out there that you can get that will work just fine for this. Isn't that the craziest thing? I just had that pack kind of set aside. There it is. It got buried back there. Okay, you can use the Zero, the Z2 from Strike King. They also have, the Z-Man has the same type of thing. They've got the Fat Pack Baits has one, the Cross Minnow. There's all kinds of minnows out there, as you know, okay? I don't really think that that's the important part. The important part more was what Kevin was doing with the bait than anything else. We're gonna go over a whole setup for you here. Now, as I mentioned, I wasn't smart enough to take a spinning rod yesterday. So I actually took, we'll do what I did first, a 3/16 ounce. This is an 1/8, okay? This is what Kevin was using, an 1/8 ounce. I was throwing it on my jerkbait rod. This is not my jerkbait rod, but similar enough, with 10-pound test and a casting rod. Not ideal for throwing a light minnow bait, but this is kind of a testament to the fact that, hey, this works pretty good, and you don't necessarily have to have special tackle for it. Now, he is convinced that the lighter 1/8 ounce is the best technique for it. He says there's just something about the 1/8 ounce, and we'll have to mess with it a little bit. But the beauty of this is it works really well from the bank as well. It's something that everybody can do. Bank, kayak, dock, you name it, whatever you got, you can do this. You just need the right type of water. In other words, it's not really good in grass because you're gonna have, this bait is really slippery in my fingers. You're gonna have an open hook, right? Now, as far as rigging goes, let me grab one here to rig up. Just I'll grab a Sakamata that maybe next time I go out, I will rig up. And I'm looking for a 4-inch, although like I said, we were using a 5. And Kevin caught several crappie on the rig. Now, typically for me, when I see crappie eating a bait, it tells me that you're throwing the right bait. Okay, well, I don't have any open, so we're going to go with the Raid fish roller in a 4-inch. They're all gonna rig the same way. The fish rollers are pretty expensive. They can be hard to find if you're local. To me, our local tackle shop has them. They don't sell them online, so they tend to last a little bit longer on the shelf. They are pricey. And to be honest, they're the Strike King and the Z-Man. I believe they're the same bait. I think they're made in collaboration, but those work just fine. Okay, we just go in through the nose here, and I like to kind of, as I'm coming through, kind of angle that hook up towards, and you'll see what I mean here in a second. All right, see how it angles up, so we got a good bite here at the end. Okay, you just want it to be straight, nice and straight there. Okay, the fish roller is very, very realistic looking. And then we're just gonna tie that up to a spinning rod. Okay, not the casting rod like the dumb average angler who thought he knew everything before he went out that day and didn't take a spinning rod. And I'm gonna use my iRod 7.2 Air, 722 Air. It is a 7'2" medium. Okay, it's got 12-pound All Might on one, and I got 12-pound Siglon PE AMZ on the other. Doesn't really seem to matter which. Okay, the whole point is we are going to take this bait and we are going to sling it out as far as you can, and which this is what we were doing. Fishing 25 to 35 foot of water. And this is why I say you can do this from the bank. It's a great presentation to do on points. And by the way, that's where we caught most of our fish, was around points off to one side or the other. And you're just going to leave your bail open until that little tiny weight, remember 1/8 ounce, I was using a 3/16. Okay, so you can use what you want. Kevin, like I said, believes that the lighter head works better. We're gonna leave the bail open and let that baby sink all the way to the bottom. Now, if the bail's open, it actually gets down there faster than what you think, okay? And then we're just going to hold the rod tip up. You're gonna shake and slow reel it. We wanna try and keep it near bottom, hopefully occasionally bumping into stuff. But if you're not, no worries, we have a solution for it. You're just gonna slow reel and shake that rod tip so you get that bait rocking. And every once in a while, we're gonna stop reeling, let that bait settle back to the bottom because we want it close to the bottom. Okay, we caught several fish this way. The biggest one he caught was maybe Kevin will drop a comment, I think it's 403, something like that. Nice, beautiful, healthy fish. We caught 3-pounder, we caught a couple 2.5s, but nonetheless, we caught a limit of fish when I had only been catching 3 fish per day, and I was fishing a whole day. So it kind of equals out with the numbers, if you will, okay? Now, couple other interesting things that we discovered throughout our day of fishing. We had one spot where we caught 2 fish. Well, that's not true. I think Kevin caught a crappie and then a bass off the same spot to start the day off. But then as the rest of the day progressed, we didn't catch 2 fish on a spot until the last spot. And that was kind of a special circumstance where I caught one on the very next cast. So my theory, that's all this is theory. It's just a thought. These fish are spooky and not real happy right now. Plus, we got a full moon. Okay, full moon, lots of light at night, the fish can feed. This time of year, my experience, it tends to make the fishing tougher. So oftentimes being out early can be a big deal. Of course, we weren't there early, we went later. But the last spot we caught 2, and it was kind of a pretty expansive spot. We're just kind of casting around on this really interesting structure spot. It's kind of a trough between 2 points. One point's kind of obvious, the other one not so much. And it's just an area where I found a lot of fish holding. Now, after we fished it, we caught those 2 fish. We went and scanned through with the forward facing. I'm like, where are all the fish? Last week they were stacked up here. There was tons of them. So I don't really know what's going on in the lake right now. I don't know if the fish are just laying on bottom, so they're not real visible, or if they skedaddled and the vast majority of them are somewhere else, maybe out in the middle of the lake. Although we crossed twice with the forward facing, looking around, and never saw any big numbers of. This is a fantastic technique if you're a boater in a tournament with a guy scoping. This is something that you can do to combat it when they're fishing floaters. Okay. Is it going to catch you as many? Probably not, but it is a good way to catch some fish. And I've been throwing a fat pack little swimmer, right? 2.8, 3.3, much like a Kitech, only I personally think they're a little better, and have not been getting bit like I typically do. January, February, I think things really kind of changed. December can be kind of a really tough month. And many of you have dropped comments down below talking about that, how tough it's been to catch fish. And that's just what I find too, okay? So I think we're all in the same boat. This technique was something that put quite a few fish in the boat. You don't have to have any special electronics. You don't even have to be out in a boat. You can do this from the bank. And the areas I like, still very much the same of my jig fishing, right? I like areas that have some rocks, some hard bottom, and you're just gonna cover water. You just, if you're on the bank, stick and move. Just, walk. Feel for those special places. Maybe you make an extra cast or 2, but typically when we got this bait in there, if there was fish around, they bit pretty quick. It's not like we had to sit there. We did, trying to, produce some more fish, thinking that, hey, we caught one, there's fish here. And it just, I don't know. I think the stress of the fish fighting you back to the boat could alarm other fish. When you release them back in, they're stressed. Maybe that's what it is. Maybe there's just not a lot of fish in this lake to boot. I don't know. It used to have a great population of fish. And I think there's still a lot of fish there. Okay, in the summertime, we had a really good time flipping, pitching, throwing the jig, throwing reaction. The frog fishing was really good. So I think there's a good number of fish there. It's just really trying to figure them out. And I just think right now they're in kind of a funk. So this is a great way, very subtle, right? All this thing's going to do is rock back and forth. You'll see that tail kind of quivering back there. And that's all we're looking to do, is just keep it close to bottom. Every once in a while, let it sink back down until you hit bottom, and then start your slow retrieve and shake again, okay? Don't shake it too violently. You just want to light. It doesn't take much. You can do this in shallower water, or even just hold it in the water on your rod tip and shake, and you'll see that bait will flop over. Very, very productive, not forward-facing sonar. We were basically spot locking in spots and fan casting around, very similar to fishing from a bank. And this is what I would do. I would say get off the sides of both on a point, hit both sides of it. Those areas that drop a little faster seem to be a little bit more productive for me right now this time of year, as we're kind of in the little funk. The water temperature is dropping in my lake, the water levels are dropping, but this is what we go through every year. All right, thanks for watching. Sean the Average Angler. We'll see you on the next one.